Want to know why? Ask how. Howard the Humongous. Right now, American, French, and British bombs are falling in Syria. The question is, should we be bombing Syria, and what should be our long-term goal? I've got surprising news for you. When it comes to the Middle East, hold on to your dictator. Treasure your dictator. Your dictator is precious. How did we learn this, and what do I mean? Once upon a time, we toppled Saddam Hussein, the dictator of Iraq. We opened up a giant space in which al-Qaeda and ISIS could play. And because al-Qaeda and ISIS are ruthless, they follow the example of Muhammad's 10 years of war, in which he took 317 square miles of fresh property every single day by slitting human throats, by cutting off heads. Because they follow that ruthless policy, it was very easy for ISIS to step into that empty space and to turn it into the Islamic State. We can't afford to have that happen again. We can't afford to turn over another big swatch of land to the suicide killers, the Islamists, the Islamic militants who take militancy to the nth degree. In Syria, that's exactly what will happen if Bashar al-Assad, the current dictator, goes. The whole country will be open for ISIS and al-Qaeda. We cannot afford that. We should learn the lesson of Saddam Hussein. Topple the dictator in the Middle East, and you open a power vacuum that people with primitive 7th century values are perfectly willing to fill. So no matter what we do, Bashar al-Assad, the current ruler of Syria, is a fierce man. He follows in the footsteps of his father, who is also the dictator of Syria. His father attained that dictatorship by killing roughly 20,000 people in the town of Homs. Bashar al-Assad has learned the lessons of his father, but he provides stability. Is he a problem? Yes, because he is allied with Russia, and more important, because he is allied with Iran. He has the proxy army of Iran called Hezbollah, an organization that Iran put together in 1982. He has them raging and rampaging around his country now in order to protect him. The Saudis, remember, the civil war in Syria is not a civil war. It is a sock puppet war. It is a proxy war. It is a proxy war between Saudi Arabia and Iran. Saudi Arabia in 2011, when we had the Arab Spring, came up with a fantasy. The idea that it could use the Arab Spring to cover a revolt that it would fund, a revolt that would knock Bashar al-Assad out of power, get rid of an Iranian ally, and allow the Saudis to install a leader of their own. Well, guess what? The Saudis don't have a leader in mind. There is no alternative to Bashar al-Assad. Are the Saudis legitimately concerned that the Iranians are surrounding them and likely to take over the entire Islamic world, especially the Islamic world of the Middle East? Yes, they are absolutely correct. Are the Iranians enemies of the United States? You bet. They have annual parades in which people are required to chant death to America. Do we need to contain Iran? We absolutely do need to contain Iran. And do we need to work with the Saudis, our allies, to do that? Absolutely yes, but the Saudis have made a bad political judgment in Syria. If we get rid of Bashar al-Assad, we will open the country to forces that want to topple the Saudi monarchy. Those forces are ISIS and al-Qaeda. We cannot afford to see Bashar al-Assad fall. Sometimes in the Middle East, you have to treasure your dictator. This is Howard the Humongous, speaking to you from the future. It's your job and my job to make, or you want to know why? Ask how. And now for the sleazy, slimy, slippery little off button.